Okay, we just got done with the big introductory press conference. Kevin O'Connell and Quasey there too, but O'Connell being introduced. Um, you know, I liked everything I heard from this guy. I liked everything that he said. Um, a lot of it was just like coach speak stuff about motivating players, winning culture, yada yada yada. I would say the two or three of the big things that he said that I really liked. The first one was about talking about obviously one of the first questions he got was about Kirk Cousins, and he talked about that his mission, his plan is to get is to really maximize Kirk and what he can do. Obviously, I'm that's exactly what I want to hear because that's we have not been doing that. We have not done you know as good as he's been. We have not done that. We have not maximized him with it. There's still juice in the turnip here. We still got some more. There's still another level, and I believe, and it's clear that O'Connell believes there's also another level. He mentioned him in relation with Matthew Stafford, like similar thing. Like I'm like people are gonna twist it to be like, oh, it's just he's saying it because they want to build up um, trade value. No, like he's planning on Kirk Cousins being the quarterback, and he's planning on designing an offense that really is gonna just really maximize this guy. That's all I've really wanted because we have not had that. Put favoring the run at all costs and putting guys in like guys in third and long all the time and not you know and not designing blocking schemes that actually can like protect the quarterback a little bit. That's not maximizing it. The vibe for last couple years has really been that you know you know that Kirk has had to overcome his own coaching staff. And it doesn't sound like that's going to happen here. Another thing that I really liked hearing was he was talking about how you know both with like personnel um, on both sides of the ball, but I think particularly on defense, but also like just like week to week, kind of his game planning, and that's thing was that was kind of his number one calling card with the Rams was that he didn't call plays, but he was really big into the weekly prep, um, and he did say he's going to be the play caller regardless of who the OC is going to be. I forget who the OC is going to be, um, but the idea of like personality, being very flexible, like whether it's hey, this is our team, this is what we do well, so we're gonna run the same fucking game plan out there every week and make them stop that. No, you alter your game plan and your personnel based on who you're playing. If that's just like maximizing your offense. It's it's maximizing, if you have you know like if there's a particular mismatch, in a particular game, you know, like there was a couple games this past year where like the Chicago game, the Monday night game, like Chicago has their whole secondary out, and we didn't run plays to try to take advantage of that shit. We just went in a cocoon and didn't try to do anything. You know, this guy gets it. He's going to be if that sort of situation were to come up again, no, we're going to bomb the shit out of these guys. We're it's that stubbornness that really pissed people off, including myself, about the Zimmer approach and the approach of whoever he had as the OC in a particular year. Um, you know, it's like you're not taking advantage of mismatches. Like we have mismatches on either side. Like our strengths, you're not maximizing them. Our weaknesses, you're not minimizing them, and vice versa for the other team. Like if they have a weakness, go at it. Like you have a team that's weak in the secondary, fucking air it out. Or if they're bad against the run, you run it like you know. But we weren't doing that, and it's the exact stuff he's talking about doing. Like, I mean, we really got, I think, the anti Zimmer here, like the you know the absolute opposite in a lot of ways, and you know, and he did specifically mention a couple of he mentioned like I know he name dropped Harrison Smith, talked about he's like the perfect guy that he wants for his team. Like he obviously, this is obviously a guy who I mean, like, he will want any head coaching job because it's a head coaching job, but he really wanted this job because he knows and he gets it, which isn't, it shouldn't be hard to understand, but it seems to be for some people, that this is a really fucking good roster that just was not getting it was not getting the coaching and the game planning and the scheming that it needed. You know, you look at stuff like, yeah, they went 8-9. They went 8-9 with a coaching staff that just didn't know what they were doing. I mean, they didn't know what they were doing in games. You know, we're not gonna have the same issues. Where we get, like, especially this past year, where it's just this week after week, we're just getting the same shit. We're going catatonic on offense for big stretches of games. We're doing all the you know we're, all the constant, like, second and long runs, and you know, going into prevent in the end of the first half and giving up points because of it. All this stuff. It's not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen. Doesn't mean that these things are ever going to happen, but they're damn sure not going to happen with the regularity that they've been happening. Because this guy fucking gets it, and I don't think at all that it's just like him saying shit. Like, you know, I was saying it as soon as it was pretty much apparent that Zimmer was done. Like, you get an offensive minded prospective head coaches would have got to be drooling at getting their hands on this team, particularly particularly on the offensive side of the ball, getting their hands on this personnel and being able to play in that sandbox. And he gets it. Like, you can tell how he's very you can tell he's bright. You can tell he knows what he's doing. You can tell he's already got, like, it's already, the gears are turning in his head of what he wants to be doing with this team. Come September. And man, I'm ready, man. Let's go. Is it fucking September already? I want to see this. I want to see, you know, I want to see what he's got. I want to see this completely opposite philosophy of how to approach games and how to approach your personnel from what we've seen. This is, and this isn't like a dump on Zimmer thing, but it got so bad these last couple years. Like, I think everyone's just going to be very just refreshed and rejuvenated, whether that's Kirk Cousins, other skill players, defense, everybody. I think everyone's going to just really be into this. And now we'll see what the um, kind of some of the approaches in free agency and draft and everything, and it'll probably be a little different. um, I don't think anyone really asked. Of course, this would be almost as much of a uh, Quasi question as an O'Connell thing, but I mean, like, philosophy in the draft, philosophy, what you're going to do now. And there may have even been some stuff about that when Quasi was introduced, but um, you know, and people are going to say, "Oh, they're just saying this stuff, and they're going to trade Kirk." Look, if they're going to trade Kirk, someone's giving them something really fucking good for that. So, you know, like, I'm not worried about that. But he gets it. Like, he's got a fucking ring because of winning a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford, who is not you know, he might be like about like this much better than Kirk Cousins. Like it's so close. There's nothing that Kirk Cousins cannot do that Matthew Stafford just did, and we just got the guy who won a Super Bowl with Stafford, so he gets it. Like we're going for it, man. You know, he's talking about how much talent there is on this roster. They're not blowing this shit up. They're just not. They're not blowing it. They're not blowing it up. They're not tanking. Sorry. If you were hoping that they were going to do that, it ain't gonna fucking happen. Sorry, deal with it. Um, but this is the team. This is a team that like he gets it. He gets it. This team has more talent than a lot of teams that made the playoffs this year. It was just really, really poorly managed and coached and schemed, both during the week and during games. It's just everyone saw it. Everybody saw it, and this is gonna like they say, showing on the team, a new era. This is gonna be a new era. It really is. I am so fucking excited for this shit. I wish it was September right now. Oh God, we got such a long wait. I'm curious. I'll be real curious to see what kind of moves are made. Like not everybody who's on this very talented roster is going to be back, for financial reasons and whatever else. And there's probably going to be some surprises. Um, Maybe in players they don't bring back or or maybe types of players they might bring in free agency or the draft or whatever. But like I'm in. I am so fucking in on this guy. I am so in on this combo, Kevin and Quasi. I'm just so into seeing this whole new thing. Um, and I didn't hate the old thing. I mean, I hated it a lot of parts of it, towards the end. But the stuff wasn't working anymore. The drafts were not very fruitful, particularly at the top of drafts, other than JJ. You know, many veteran decisions with retaining players that just didn't work out. Like, and maybe they would have done some. Maybe these guys would have done some of the same moves, but um, and some of the stuff that happened was not really the fault of the previous regime, but I mean, a lot of it was. And these guys ain't gonna be perfect. They're not gonna. They're not going. What would it be? 17-0 plus three. They're not gonna go 20-0 next year. But I absolutely believe they can compete for a Super Bowl. I do. Um, Especially considering the fact that the NFC is going to be very wide open, whether certain other players exit the conference or not. Um, like they can compete. I mean, we saw it. We saw it last year. They almost, it didn't look like an impressive thing to almost win in Cincinnati, but they did, and that was a Super Bowl team. Like they almost beat the Cardinals. And I don't know. People are like, oh, they almost won, but they didn't win. Well, I think a lot of the reason that these things were we almost won instead of we won was coaching and I think that's going to be markedly better this year. I'm not worried about him being a rookie head coach who's never been a head coach before. I'm not worried about this stuff. I'm just not, because I think so much of it is just being better with scheming, and you know coaching is so fucking important in the NFL. It's the players matter, but the coaches matter more in the NFL than any of the other major sports, and it's not even fucking close. And I've said it. I said it during the season at times last year. I thought it was like coaching malpractice what I was seeing in some of these games, like that Dallas game. Like how did that happen? How do you let it happen? This guy would not have lost that Dallas game. This guy would not have lost that fucking Detroit game. He would like he would not have lost. He would not have lost some of these games that we lost. And you flip even just a few of these losses to wins last year, and we're in the playoffs. We might be in a position to make a run in the playoffs. And we go to next year. we've got a much more favorable schedule. And I know this isn't just like about a 2022. This, we want these guys to be here for many years, but um, we still got all this fucking talent, a lot of players in their prime, or even not even in their prime yet. Um, a much easier schedule on paper. That I mean, that could change. We thought Cincinnati was an easy game, and that wasn't. So, um, you know, easier schedule. We got an extra home game next year. Conference, I think is, I think it's going to be very, very manageable if you want to make a run, and I think they can do it. I'm in. I am so fucking in on this era, this new era that's dawning in Viking land. I think this guy gets it. We'll see. One thing we're not going to have any idea about until September. Is is like the in-game decision making, play calling, stuff like that. Something goes wrong. What's he going to do? How's he going to you know how can he adapt in the middle of games? That's going to be like, I mean, but that there's no way to know that until, or to start knowing that until September. But I'm in. Like he seems to really get it. I'm fucking excited. Every Vikings fan should be excited. Even the ones who maybe wanted a different coach. They wanted Jim Harbaugh, or they wanted some other assistant. We got a good one, Vikings fans. Kevin O'Connell. I think he's going to be a fucking great hire, and I think we're going to win a lot of football games, and hopefully we will win the last football game with him. And I think he can do it. I'm not saying I'm not predicting they're gonna go win the Super Bowl next year, but I mean, you know, I think in his tenure here, I think he's gonna be able to make us, you know, a real consistent threat. And we've been consistently competitive, but we haven't necessarily been a threat. And I think this guy's gonna, I think they're gonna be able to do it. I'm sorry. Even if they move on from Cousins, I trust this group to, you know to get the guy, whether that is, in a draft or trade or whatever. Like, I'm in. I'm buying in. I'm buying all the stock. I'm pushing all the cards to the table, all the chips to the table. Um, so this is a very, very optimistic day, and maybe years from now I'll look back on this and be like, "Wow, what was I thinking?" But no, I don't think so. I think we got some excellent, excellent, exciting football ahead of us, and some exciting seasons ahead of us, and I think some exciting seasons immediately. Um, and hey, let's go. All I can say is let's fucking go. I wish it was September already, but we'll see what happens in the off season, and then. But yeah, I think we're going places with this new regime.